Oh yeah, I just got sent this by a company called FiFine, and it's a microphone. Yeah, so I just got sent this, told to do a kind of review on it, and I've looked on the website and stuff. It seems pretty cool, and I think it's useful, maybe in more of like a home studio, starting up beginner environment. So let's check it out. So I've got my unboxing scissors right here. Oh, I think I might have hit something. It's open at this end anyway, kind of. Alright. Right, the box, the actual box is much smaller than this, because it's only a mic. Alright, anything else in there? Nope. Okay, so this is actually quite a cool box. To be fair, it's quite neat. Open it up. It's pretty nicely packaged, so let's check what's in it. Okay, so what we've got is just like some kind of tag thing. Obviously the guide, and there's quite a full set there. There's obviously a lot of stuff going on. Obviously the pop shield. This one's, how is it? No, that's actually really tough. So it's not flimsy. It's not going to like fall down if you mess around with it. Let's do the test. I mean, it works great. So, I mean, that's one thing. If you're trying to get kind of professional sounding vocals at home, filtering out all the pops and stuff is definitely one good way to start, because even if your voice doesn't sound good and stuff now, you still want it to be recorded good so that it's like the best you can do it. That's the actual kit. So here's like another kind of windshield, maybe if you're doing something outside. It's a USB mic, and I'm going to get into that later on, because that's how you connect it up to the computer. Pretty standard USB there. I'm sure even if you lose this, you've got loads of plugs like that at home. The holder, the actual microphone, it's a bit smaller than I thought, but it's a condenser mic, because you can see there you've got the two plates. That's, I'm guessing, the gain rather than volume they mean, but it's quite heavy. It seems pretty tough actually. It seems like a good build quality. The stand, now that's pretty cool. That's going to be really helpful, especially if you're like making videos like me and you want to talk over. So when I'm doing Logic videos, I might actually use this to talk over them, because then I can get better audio quality. That's like a stand if you want to stand it up close to tune and not have this. So yeah, let's go ahead and set it up. It would make sense to have the mic kind of on the same side, and the cable's long enough to attach it and everything. Alright, so I'll set it up a bit closer. I'll put it like here. That's actually pretty strong. All of this stuff seems like pretty good build quality actually. It's not just like some flimsy stuff from a random factory. So let's get this in. So I've got the instructions here. Right, so for this, you just take this bit out. That's like a locking screw. Which way to go? Oh, it goes in this way. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So like that, you just screw it back on the bottom. Makes sense. Cool. And that is the big one. So it goes on like that. Alright, that feels tight enough. That's not going to come off. Look at that, that's actually super cool. So if I'm sitting here, you can easily speak into that. And it's not falling down, because, there we go. If you tighten that, it doesn't fall down. It stays pretty well. This bit obviously insulates it from like vibration, so even if I hit the desk and stuff, or accidentally knock this with my arm, the vibrations from all this isn't going to really be picked up by the mic, so that's always good to see that, rather than just mounting it on this kind of a thing. See what else there is. Obviously, there's this, which you just attach on to the arm, but I'm not going to test that yet, because I'm going to do like a sound test, see what it's like just kind of talking into it. So let's connect it up to the computer. So this is obviously the cable. It's super long, so that's good. So I'm going to put it around the back of my computer and into here. So under here, figure out which way it goes. So flat side I think goes there. Flat. Cool, that goes pretty easy. Alright, so that's in. Now let's show you how to connect up the computer. Alright, so now that I've got everything plugged in terms of setting stuff up, it's really simple. This was super easy. You don't need to install any like software or drivers or anything, and you're just gonna know the name of it, but it's pretty obvious if that's the only thing you've got plugged in. So let me get up my thing. Basically, what you need to do to set up, if you haven't got an audio interface, because this is brilliant because it's USB, it means you don't have to have an audio interface, and so there's no need for XLR stuff. So it's literally just plug in and go. But what you need to do is obviously go to Logic Pro, Preferences, and then Audio. That will bring you to this page here. And for the input device, obviously everyone's computer and system is going to be different. My sound system's quite complicated because I've got a couple of inputs. Obviously I've got all my stuff over there, and then I want it coming out of, I've technically got two outputs because I need to output it to the interface for the headphones and then output it to the stereo which powers the speakers and then to the speakers. So I'm sure it's going to be much more simple for you guys. And then also I've got to do all my screen recording setups and stuff to make sure it's going back into the program. So yeah, just before I filmed this section of the video, I literally sat here for about half an hour, half crying because I couldn't figure out what was going on. But anyway, I did, and I'm here to explain it. So if you've got a very simple setup, no audio interface, just like a computer, and you bought this mic, then what you need to do is go into input, and it's called USB PMP audio device. And what that does is just literally routes it in, and then every time you speak into the mic, it'll record it into Logic, no problem. If you have an audio interface, however, this is where it starts to get slightly more tricky, because obviously I want to still use my audio interface to plug in stuff like when I record in scratches or recording stems from the MPC, but I also want to use this mic for what I'm speaking to you right now, and also sometimes putting in ad-libs and stuff like that. So you're going to need, this is where it gets technical because we need to link the two together. You can see here that I've named this thing that I've made Logic Pro Input, and if we go here into Audio MIDI Setup, and you can see I've got Logic Pro Input. The reason it says 3 inputs is because obviously there are 2 inputs on that, this is one, and I've just literally, you go aggregate device, aggregate means like together, you link these two together by selecting which ones you want to use, put your interface or like your main one as the clock source, because obviously this one is going to be stronger and I've got more stuff running through that than just one microphone. You link it together so that now both inputs are kind of being brought together by this device, and then obviously I've called it Logic Pro Input so I know what input to do it in. And then when you come into Logic Pro, you've now got input 1 is my mic, and then input 2 and input 3 are from the interface, so that's all good. And if I got a bigger interface with like 4 inputs, you'd see 3, 4 and 5 down here. So now that we've kind of set it all up, let's get into the sound test. Alright, so obviously in that clip before where I set it up, you've been hearing the audio coming from the microphone the whole time, but I actually haven't. Yeah, let me just kind of record in a bit of it, and then we can compare it to this mic and just see what's going on. A few things that we can take note of in its specifications is that the polar pattern is unidirectional. I think that's the same as omnidirectional, so that means that it picks up sound from anywhere. So it should pick up the same amount of sound from the back and sides than as the front, instead of like cardioid or something. Frequency response 20 to 20,000. I mean, I don't doubt that it could go to 20 to 20,000. It's just whether anyone can produce sounds that's 20 or 20,000. So, at least it says that it'll capture pretty much any of your hearing range or or your speech frequency range. Don't know what any of that other stuff means, but it says the sensitivity. At 1 kilohertz, it can pick up minus 43 dB. So I think minus 60 is kind of pretty much what you can't hear. But I think the main thing everyone's going to be using it for is obviously vocals and just speaking into it like me here. So let's record it. I'll listen to it back and we can see how it sounds. Let's compare it with some singing. Let me duplicate this track here. I'm going to have the same processing on it. This is I'm sure you remember this video, the one where I try and sing. Yeah, I've got the beat up here. I'm going to mute this. Have I got the lyrics here? Yes, I do. So that's perfect. I'm going to try and, sing exactly the same, and then we can compare the difference between the two mics. So I'm going to take this off and get the pop filter on. Here it goes. Hopefully this mic will make me better at singing, but you never know. Right, let's get this wire out of the way and hit record. Yo, yeah. Nah. Right, let's just listen to that back. So it's already got the processing on exactly the same with this mic. I think it's a tiny bit louder, so we'll just quieten it. But hopefully, I'm excited to see how this sounds. Now I've been trying to write some lyrics for this video. I think I might need a woman to get into my flow. I don't really know what it's been about, but I know that every time I gotta get my word out. I try to rap, but now I gotta sing. And with the auto-tune I can make you all think I can. And even though I write, my voice just doesn't sound good, it just barely sounds alright. This is a genuine smile right here, because seriously, it picks up every detail. And I obviously ignore the stupid singing, but seriously, that's so much better than this mic. See that? If you just compare the sound of the voice, not actually the voice, you can hear that this one's like kind of just the vague general picture of it. Now I've been trying to write some lyrics for this video. It sounds super weak, but then here it is louder because I gained it up, but now I've been trying to write some lyrics for this video. It's a lot, and that's with the same EQ settings and stuff. So we take all the EQ off, we can hear now that obviously this mic, it really must pick up to like, you know, something like 20 or 30 hertz, because that is a huge difference in like the kind of low mids and the weight of your voice, which is probably really important, especially if you're doing like rap vocals or something, because they'll really carry the sound of your voice. Now I've been trying to write some lyrics with it. I think I might need a woman to get into my flow. I don't really know what. That's super cool. That's actually really good. That's much better than I thought it would be. Seriously, I was a bit skeptical of reviewing this, because obviously I don't use a mic that often. You know, I only do a couple of things where I sing, and you know, I'm not a singer, I'm not a rapper. But it's always good to just have a decent mic, and for things like this, when you want to test out vocals on a song, because sometimes I'll do like a kind of guide verse for someone, and you know, also mainly for me, I think the main I reckon about like, you know, 50% of the time I'm going to be using this to just speak into and give a better audio quality for you guys watching the video. So hopefully you appreciate that. I'll see if I can find a few like diagrams of the sound thing, because I think in some mics they give you that, but I'm not sure. I'll email them and see if I can find that, because that'd be interesting to see, and I can kind of explain how that works if you don't know. So yeah, now that we've done the sound test, let's go into a few pros and cons. I've been playing around with this for a while now, and obviously you know, there's pros to every mic and there's cons to every mic. This mic costs about £70. You can get it off Amazon, so it is affordable, and I think, you know, £70 to be fair is quite a lot actually for just like somebody who's maybe starting out making music, because I think that's what this mic is designed for, because it comes as like the starter kit, you know, because you won't have a stand or anything, and it's USB, because you might not have an interface or something. So I think it's definitely aimed at a home environment, and like starting out for somebody, well, I'm not really starting out really, but you know what I mean, like somebody who just wants to kind of get into it and maybe have a mic for like backup and stuff. So to be honest, I think if you've got £70, this is like a really good buy, because not only is it a great mic, but maybe if you wanted to, you know, a few years later, if you wanted to upgrade the mic to maybe like one of the more expensive ones that might cost like £200 or something rather than 70, you've already got all the kit and stuff to, you know, do that. So really, I think overall just buying the whole package is pretty good. Obviously you heard the sound test and how, like, you know, pleased I was with that, because with this mic and stuff, it's a cheap mic, and you know, cheap is dear. You get what you get for like 20 or 30 pounds. So when this mic got sent to me and I saw that it was kind of maybe aimed at more of the beginner things, I kind of thought, oh well, you know, it might be because it's cheaper and stuff and it comes with the kit, they might have lacked a bit on the sound quality, because but obviously not, because that is a super, you know, you really don't need anything better than that kind of sound quality, unless you're like,
you know, recording an orchestra or something, obviously you can get better stuff and certain people will be able to hear the difference. But if you're just some random guy like me in your bedroom making beats and filming videos, this is really as good as it gets for stuff that you need to do, because I don't need to, you know, record whole choirs and stuff like that. I just need to sometimes record my voice to put in Logic and then do voiceovers on a video like this. Few things that I was slightly skeptical about was the USB on it, because I thought you can't really plug it into your audio interface, and so it might be hard for your computer to deal with. It might be slightly slower. And then also the thing about XLR mics is obviously they have like good noise cancelling and stuff in them, so sometimes if you've got like a bad lighting system or there's lots of other like electromagnetic things going on, the XLR will cancel that, because that's just how XLR works. I can do a video on that later if some of you guys want that. A USB, it might not be so quick, or there might be some lag, but actually there's literally minimal lag. To be honest, you know, I'm not going to need to change my mic anymore, because this is what I'm using. FiFine T669 mic starter kit with everything. That's where it's at. It's just, this mic is super good, and I'm genuinely not saying that because I got this mic for free. I'm just saying that because you heard it, you saw how happy I was when you know, I did the sound test. But yeah, it is a good mic. So thanks for watching. I'm going to put a link down in the description where you can find it. If you're not subscribed, obviously subscribe to make that happen. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about this or anything else to do with mics, then just leave them in the comments. And yeah, big thanks to FiFine again for sending me this mic. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.